There are days when our motivation is low and it feels like everything is harder. Even when we usually balance work and loved ones and exercise and health and sleep, everything so well, there are days when things can go off track. Suddenly we skip a workout, lean into fast food or junk food, stay up too late, or get lost in the social media, ending the day feeling disappointed in ourselves because we were not able to achieve what we wanted to achieve that day. So, how do you pull yourself out of that rut? Today, I'm going to share with you 5 steps that you can use to build your self discipline, to move out of that rut, and to still deliver on things that you needed to deliver, even when the days are tough. Before we get started, a reminder to 90% of you who haven't yet subscribed to my channel to do so now and click on the notification bell icon so that you can be reminded every time I release a new video. I spend a lot of time and effort in creating these videos, and your subscription means the world to me. And now that we have you subscribed, let's get started. So the first step is to follow the 5-second rule. Mel Robbins' 5-second rule is a quick mental trick to help you move forward from thought to action. The rule is simple. If you have an instinct to act on a goal, count backwards from 5 to 1 and then move. Physically move to start the task. Now, this approach interrupts the hesitation loop and pushes you to take that small first step forward, whether it's starting with your workout, picking up on your writing, or tackling on any important work that you have been procrastinating. The idea is to not give your brain enough time to go into that hesitation loop, to go into the procrastination move. Instead, focus your brain in terms of taking action so that you can move forward. The second step is the listing strategy. Now, many times when we think about all that we need to do in a day, we start creating these lists in our mind. And as we start thinking about it, these lists start growing in our minds. And before we know, our mind has this confused long list that seems like a daunting task that we don't want to embark on. So a good idea is to actually get a paper and a pen and start listing down all the things that you need to do today, or all the things that are part of a big job that you want to accomplish today. After you create that list, the next step is to identify what are the 2 most important things that you need to do today to be able to accomplish that bigger goal. What are the 2 things that you need to do first? And then focus all your attention on those 2 things. Now, here's what happens with this process. Instead of your mind getting all overwhelmed with the long list of things that you're building in your brain, what you are doing is you're providing clear direction to your brain in terms of 1, organizing the list of tasks that you have to accomplish, and 2nd, identifying what are the 2 things that you need to do to make a difference today. Now, when you do this, your brain is no longer confused or overwhelmed because it now knows that you have to focus on only the 2 things that you have listed on the paper. And the attention goes over there. The brain is no longer confused. You can move forward. There is no hesitation. And once you complete these 2 things, then come back to your larger list and start accomplishing other things on that list. The third step is to no longer focus on the plan. So many times when we think about how our day is going to shape up and what we want to accomplish during the day, we spend so much energy creating a plan, continuously thinking about how you should plan your day, how activities should flow. In that moment, what happens is that we go into the analysis paralysis mode. We spend so much time planning that we really don't get time to take action. And here, what I'm asking you to do is to have faith in the plan that you have already created. And rather than defining that plan further, just say that this is my plan today and move forward and take action. What this does is it moves you from a phase of just thinking to the doing phase. And really, if you think about it, this phase is all about moving forward. It's about accomplishing small things as opposed to being trapped in creating a bigger plan, which God knows when will you get an opportunity to implement. So on the days when motivation is low, we oftentimes think that we need to first get motivation to do something. The reality is you need to actually do something to feel motivated to do more. There's so many times I've seen people get stuck in trying to look for motivation outside, in the outside world, to get started. Instead, what you need to do is to take that small little step, even if it means getting out of the bed, doing your stretches, or getting out of the bed and making some healthy food for yourself, or just sending an email that you have been procrastinating on for a long time. That small task will give you the motivation to do the next task. So don't look for motivation outside. Instead, do a small task that provides you the motivation to get started to do more. The next step is to focus on mundane. Many times when our motivation is low, our creative energy is also low. So in those times, if you try to do high energy, high creativity tasks, you're going to feel that you're not as productive. And what that would do is that will reduce your motivation, that will reduce your confidence in yourself. Instead, on these days when motivation is not high, focus on the mundane, focus on operational tasks that you can work on, still check them off your list, move forward, but are not getting demotivated because you don't have that kind of creative energy. This happened to me many times when I was writing my Amazon bestseller, Fast Track Your Leadership Career, that you see over here. As I was writing the chapters, sometimes I would have a creativity block, a writer's block. And then I would push myself to write something, and what I would write would be subpar. Instead, on those days when I started feeling low or my motivation was low, I would do the mundane. I would clean up my desk. I would respond to emails that I hadn't responded for days and give me that break to really process that creativity block and come back and write better the next day. And the last strategy that I have for you is to use the Pomodoro technique and use a timer. Now, I've noticed this many times with myself when my motivation is low or when I'm not feeling up to it to tackle large tasks. I would start watching the news, or I would start listening to a podcast, or I would start going on social media and watching at reels. And before I know, my entire day is consumed in these activities, and I've been procrastinating the whole day to do something productive. So for those times, what I do is I use the Pomodoro technique. I set a timer for 25 minutes. I pick up a small task that I would accomplish in those 25 minutes. I give myself that carrot or the end reward of being able to watch stuff on social media or read a piece of news after I finish this task in 25 minutes. That becomes that intrinsic motivation for me to finish that task before I start watching some reels. And then I give myself a break of about 10-15 minutes. I watch those reels or I listen to a podcast and then come back and pick up the next task. So in this way, I provide motivation to my brain to do something productive before I can enjoy a reel on social media or listen to a piece of news or podcast that excites me. Not every days are like that. Some days you have high creative energy, you're motivated, you have all the discipline to get started on things. But there are days when our motivation is not that high, our self-discipline is low, and these steps really help me still accomplish the work that I need to accomplish without feeling like the day has taken over and I haven't been able to finish anything. So try out these strategies. Let me know if any of these work for you, which one resonates with you the most. And I would love for you to also share with me, what strategies do you use on the days when your motivation is not high? If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Your subscription means the world to me, and it helps you share knowledge with your network as well. I'll see you next week. Till then, have a successful week. Bye-bye.